Hello everybody, Mango Thunderslice here, and today we're going to be talking about climate change and global warming. I know in the mind of most people those are the same thing, and the way the media presents it, they are meant to be the same thing, but they are not. It is a rainy day in December here. It's probably been the rainiest December that I've seen ever, having lived here in the Reno Tahoe area. Usually we have a lot of snow by this point. But as anybody who's been watching the weather over the last year knows, we are not having a normal go of it this time around. California and the West are in an extreme drought. Even though we're getting these rainstorms now, it's not really even close to make up for the deficit we've had in precipitation. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, we have the polar vortex, the stratospheric circle of wind up on the ice cap that's coming down further into the North American continent, bringing all sorts of precipitation records, cold records. I mean, it's been colder in parts of Louisiana than parts of Alaska over the last few months. It's been a wild, wild thing to witness. And so this really brings us to the crux of the issue. The climate is obviously changing. No one can deny this. To deny that the climate is changing is equivalent to blindness at this point. However, to say that the globe is warming is patently false. We are not experiencing warming at this time on the surface. Ever since 1998, in fact, when we had El Nino, which was a above average heat event globally, the temperature has plateaued. We have not been warming for almost 2 decades now, and that's a fact. The head of the IPCC has been forced to admit this. We know this. This isn't a matter of opinion. I'm not denying anything. I'm reading the data when I say that the planet has not warmed in almost 2 decades. That is a fact. Okay? But we are seeing the climate changing. So what's the deal? Because what the scientists supposedly agree on, so we keep hearing this 97% figure of scientists agree, and I don't want to get into too many of the details of that study. I'll provide some links below, but that study claiming that 97% of scientists agree that humans are causing the changing of the climate is an absolute fraud. That statistic does not hold water at all. There are thousands and thousands of scientists, real credible meteorologists, climatologists, people across all disciplines, and they're saying this theory is not holding water, guys. It's not working out. And we've got this tidal swelling of people now waking up and starting to question this narrative because we're not seeing the planet warming. They're trying to create the narrative that it is, saying that the ice cap is melting and we see these walruses on a beach and that means that humans are about to kill the planet. Well, here's the thing, guys. Humans are really, really affecting the planet, and we got a lot of huge problems to deal with. But global warming really is not one of them. I'm extremely concerned about the pollution of the environment. When we're talking about nitrous oxide emissions, we're talking about radioactive particles, we're talking about all these biochemical hazards being released into our environment. That is not a good thing. And anybody advocating that we can just let that go willy-nilly is not getting the big picture of things. We need to see the big picture, but we also need to adhere to the data. If we're just trying to scare people into thinking the globe is warming so that we can have more people ride bicycles, I don't believe that we should use lies to achieve something that can be achieved by the truth, realistically. People should want to be healthy, to be resilient, to be sustainable, and we don't have to scare the shit out of them in order to get them to do that. So where's the data? What's my point on this? Okay? The climate is changing on virtually every other planet in the solar system. Venus has winds that are 30% faster than they were in years previous. The storm at the pole of Saturn, or not necessarily at the pole, but there's a storm on the planet Saturn that happens like clockwork every single 30 years. And it came over a decade early, and it's lasted way longer than it should have. Okay, that's a change in the climate on Saturn. Venus, we saw the change in the climate on winds. Imagine storms reaching 200 miles an hour as a regular phenomenon on Earth. We're not seeing that, thank God. Okay, Mercury is having changes, Pluto's having changes, Mars, the ice caps are changing. We're seeing it virtually throughout the solar system. And humans, as scurrilous as they might be, are not polluting Jupiter. We are not introducing carbon dioxide to Venus. Okay. So there is obviously a solar driver to this, and there's a lot of evidence when we look down that pathway. The IPCC only acknowledges total solar irradiance, basically the sunlight, the bright part of the light, when they're measuring the solar factors in their models, which supposedly all agree. But those models agree, but the data do not. The sun has so much more going on than just the light that you see, so much more going on. This is a sphere of liquid metallic hydrogen with an immense electromagnetic quality to it. We have solar wind hitting us in all different densities throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year. We have a space weather, just like we have Earth weather. And realistically, yes, you can check the space forecast, just as you can check the Earth forecast. And the more that we start to make those connections, the more that we see that the sun is the main driver for virtually all climatary patterns on this planet. Okay? More so than carbon dioxide ever being a greenhouse gas, water vapor is the number one overwhelming, more powerful greenhouse gas on this planet. And the water vapor on this planet is pretty much 100% directed by solar activity. And that's something I'm going to get on more in the future. Just kind of a brief overview on the global warming versus climate change issue in this video. But essentially, so what are we witnessing? We're witnessing climate change throughout the solar system. We're seeing a change in the sun's electromagnetic quality at a rate faster than in the last 10,000 years. The magnetic North Pole of planet Earth is moving at a rate faster than ever before. Our magnetic shield that surrounds the Earth and buffers us from radiation from the sun, from the cosmos, is weakening. It's weakened by over 15% in the last couple decades. This is big news. This is all stuff that's going to affect the climate. But this is all stuff that the IPCC and the mainstream media completely ignores in their covering of this issue. So isn't that a little curious? It's almost like somebody wants to promote a specific narrative for their own financial benefit. But of course, what is the carbon trading really about? Just making a new financial market to be rigged just like mortgage-backed securities. So we gotta always be aware of the political motives behind these supposed scientific goodwill endeavors. You know, it's nice to be optimistic about people's intentions, but not when those people are politicians. That's a bad idea, and you need to wake up. So, in conclusion, we need to follow the data. We need to realize that the climate is changing, but that the Earth's climate is changing in response to solar phenomena. Humans are playing a part in the environment. We are polluting the environment. Fukushima is killing the Pacific. There are dead mammals washing up on the shore of the Pacific on North America. You know, it's disgusting. You can measure the radiation levels in Hawaii. There are all sorts of weird creatures washing up on the shore. There are pieces of their body missing. I mean, we're seeing grotesque mutations coming out of the Pacific Ocean, and this is a problem, guys. This is the problem. Fukushima irradiating the Pacific, that's a freaking problem. But to focus energy saying we need to lobby the government to get a climate bill passed so we can trade carbon credits to prevent the warming phenomenon that's not even happening? Come on, guys. Let's not waste our time here. Let's get real, and let's save the world. Actually, if we can't save the world, we can at least clean up our own lives, and we can become resilient, healthy, and sustainable. And if we can do that, then we don't need to worry about any bills anyway. We don't need to worry about the government. We don't need to ask for anything, because every dollar we spend is a vote for a better world. So we are going to be bringing more ideas to you in the future of how to make your life more resilient, sustainable. But just get this in your head right now, is that it's all up to you, baby. Ain't nobody going to come and save you but you. So let's play it.